is good to see you. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I sure as hell did. Very eventful as my son turned 3. We had the whole family over here. Beautiful time. Topped it off to watch my boy run 4 miles afterwards, and it was an absolutely amazing day. What's going on? My G is in the building, Jimmy Bright, and of course, the beefiest of stews already here to kick it off. If you're watching this at a later time, we have a lot to go over. NASDAQ, Bitcoin, earnings, the super like. Goodness gracious, my boy Norman keeps blessing me with his hard-earned money. Of course, I'm going to show you my earnings blotter percentage. I think it's very important to see how you boys doing. And then, of course, the IBD 15. Then we're going to look at our sector leaders. Our sector leaders watch list right at the end. And guys, we're going to go over every single ticker that you have. So I hope you are pumped and ready for an amazing show. We're going to keep it live. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it locked in, baby. So what do we got? What do we got, baby? We got about 30 seconds left until we're going to get this bad baby started. If you're watching this at a later time, watch this all the way through. You got until Monday after the close to finish watching this. It's going to show you which sectors are hot, what you need to be watching, what you need to cancel out the noise with. And right now I can hear myself talking in the background, so we'll cancel that out. Zamora is in the building. Beef Stewie using those emojis. I'm going to send you one right back. My favorite. Oh, Papa Powell. Yeah, baby. All right. I think it's time. Are you guys ready? Let's get this party started. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into it. I am not going to dibble-dally around. There's no dibble-dallying around about it. I'm going to show you what I'm excited for and what I am not. And the first thing that I see here, just as we talked about before, Bitcoin showing this basing breakout. We tried it here. We tried the trend breakout. We've seen the anchored VWAP from the all-time high breaking out, creating these 3 new lower highs that I personally need for a proper basing breakout. And then the breakout happened. I missed the initial breakout, so I took the simple basing breakout here. Instead of using Bitcoin, I used equities like MSTU or MSTR. I used IBIT, and we took a little circle, CRCL. But regardless, we talked about this melt up, and you guys know if you look at Bitcoin and you zoom out here, it's really simple. When these things have a nice basing pattern breakout like this, they can move. The last basing breakout that happened moved up 43% in Bitcoin. So imagine what that can do to your account if you decide to take a levered ETF, or rather just get in a faster moving ADR or something that is following Bitcoin. Now, one thing I do want to point out on Bitcoin, it's very important here. Look at this volume, folks. We don't talk about volume enough. This is the volume contraction pattern coined by Mark Minervini. What does this right here tell us about the psychology of Bitcoin? Plain and simple. As it goes up, as we push up, we see a lot of volume. As it trades sideways or starts to pull back, we are starting to see less volume. What does that tell us? As the price continues to move up and there's less volume, there's not so many people selling this, folks. There is not many people selling Bitcoin is what this volume is telling us. People want to buy, but nobody wants to sell. And now we're at an area where there's not many sellers and there are still buyers. What's above us? Who's going to sell into us? Absolutely nobody. Bitcoin is on a tear. This is a melt up. And we talked about this, folks. We talked about this many times in our Discord. Of course, if you want to join, you need a proper invite from one of our OG members. So thank you, each and every one of you, for being a member. And speaking of members, Joseph is in the building. What is going on, guys? And I do have a question for you. Bitcoin will end next week over 120, over 150, below 100K, or 110. What is your call out here? Now, see, at the end of the week, yeah, I'd love to see it above 120. Honestly, this thing can rip. Who knows how high it can go? But that's enough about Bitcoin. We can come back and talk about that later. We need to see the NASDAQ futures. When they first opened up, we were below a 10-day exponential moving average. If we zoom in on this, you can see we're squatted down right on top of that 10-day moving average. Now, you You guys know I like to follow a 21-day moving average, so a pullback would not be so scary. It wouldn't be, you know, that all awkward or out of the ordinary, you know. So, adjust your psychology and your risk management to know and understand that we are melting up. We can continue to melt up in this beautiful, beautiful market, but we do have room to pull down, and it would be justified for the market to digest some of these moves and even come back and retest this breaking area, this basing breakout area. That would be totally normal and justified, right? So keep that in mind when you are taking these trades. If you get stopped out, that's a-okay. We're waiting for the setups, the hot sectors, the hot leaders inside of those sectors, so we can take a base or a trend breakout and we can continue with this melt up. So if you're holding trades, personally right now, I am managing. I got into Bitcoin and all the derivatives, as well as holding HOOD. Well, the NASDAQ pulls back. Actually, HOOD is showing relative strength. So we're seeing an amazing group where we're seeing amazing things happen. We're seeing sectional rotation. We're starting to see a lot of this stuff happen. And we're also still seeing, and I got to bring it up, gold. The gold futures here are up, and it looks like we're seeing a trending breakout right here, folks, right here. And look, we see a bit of that this volume contraction pattern right here. You can see that. And now on the trend break, you can see volume. Now, I don't have a lot of gold stocks that we can look at, but I do like the financials on ORLA, and it moves 4.79%. So if you're, you know what we're looking at in, Bitcoin and the NASDAQ futures, you know the stocks that we're looking at, but I don't talk about gold too much. This looks like a beautiful basing breakout right here. We can set our alert. And if it's something that you are looking for, well, you have an alert. If the volume comes in and it shows true for proper risk management, this could be a good trade. So that's just one of many that we have to show. So keep in mind, Bitcoin melting up. We have a gap up, and I checked my account. IBIT, the MSTU, they're all gapping up with it. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'd love to see continuation. And then just to recap on NASDAQ, guys, we're squatting on the 10-day moving average. It's been holding that 10-day. You can't really argue with this beautiful bullish move that we've had. Maybe some digestion, or maybe we continue to just chuck higher. So we will see what's going to happen very, very soon, because as you guys know, earning season is starting to heat up. Keep that in mind. Norman Conklin is in the building. What is going on, Norman? I got a small segment just dedicated for our members, so please stay with us. It's coming after earnings. So let's take a look at earnings. I think it's really important that we do understand that banks are important during earnings. So if we look at these earnings, just take a look at what we have going on here, folks. A lot of banks, okay? Now, Monday, we only have a few after the close. First Bank, I'm not even sure. This one here, EQBK, Equity Branch Shares Incorporated, and FB, or First Bank. And then after that on Tuesday is when it really starts to heat up. So before the open, we have JP Morgan, Citi, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, State Street, BNY. And then after the close, Omni, Pinnacle, WAFD Bank, just a ton of these banks. Some of them I haven't heard of before, others we have. And then Wednesday, you have PNC, M&T Bank, just reading off the top of this, ASML, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs. I mean, these are big names, folks, big names, and have amazing runs ever since we've been in a risk-off scenario where we've started to even talk about rate cuts. You started to see JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs lead the way in the charts for the overall banks and continue to head higher. Thursday, you have Cintas, the US Bank Corp, Bank OZK in the after close. Netflix is a huge one. If you guys remember, Netflix actually led this market higher, as well as with Duolingo and Roblox. Okay, so we'll have to take a look at those. Pepsi-Cola, which is obviously your big bank, or I'm sorry, your it's a big stock, big conglomerate. And then Taiwan Semiconductors, or TSMC. Fifth Third Bank. I mean, I could go on and on, guys. It's a pretty damn big week in earnings season when it comes to the banks. They are starting to heat up. And a few of those, like JP Morgan, JP Morgan, which one is that? There it is, JPM, my bad. JP Morgan, new all-time highs just last week, and you can see their financials, the sales is kind of declining here, but regardless, you can see, you can't argue with this price action. Beautiful uptrend here. The tariff scare ripped it down, and then it just recovered beautifully with the overall market. So you can see the banks are doing very well. We might see a change in those directions when earnings starts to come out, and if you see that, you're going to see that in the overall stock market, because if banks are looking a little sketch, they don't look like they're going to be making money, it will pull a little bit of that weight on the rest of them. What's up, Tort? Bitcoin to 120, he says, let's go. And Libby, what's going on, Libby? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, guys, listen. I've been doing this for quite some time. I've had plenty of people come and go, but we have had plenty of amazing members who sign up, they join up, and they stick with it. They learn each and every day. They're part of the Discord. They give. And that's what I love about this community. We all share ideas. We all kind of pick each other's brains. And so this is just a quick shout out to you, Norman Conklin. Not only is he a member, but he keeps giving me these glorious super chats, and it just keeps me going, man. It pumps me up. I really appreciate you giving me a little bit of that hard-earned money over for everything I do. So thank you. I appreciate you and all of our members. So huge shout out to you, my boy Beef Stewie, Carl Burr, and Norman Conklin. You are absolutely amazing. And I know I've only played this one other time, and I'm pretty sure it was for you, Norman. So bear with me here, folks, because it's a little cheesy, but I really do love it. And, we got to be a little goofy on this show from time to time. So without further ado, this is for you, Norman Conklin, for the super chat. Woo, we just got ourselves a super chat, or a super like. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's dance, baby. Oh, yeah. Making that money, making it rain. Yeah, baby. I love it. Hey, and you know what? I was getting this all set up, and I was talking to the kids, and my two boys were watching, and they go, Dad, if any of my friends see that, I am cooked. Please don't play that. And I was like, come on, man. They're like, is that your intro? Norman, thank you so much. Honestly, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your time, and I really appreciate your dedication to this channel, as well as you, Carl Burr, and of Beef Stewie, my man, the myth, the legend. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Let's just get right back into it, guys. So one thing that I like to do is when I take these trades, I'm always giving myself a check, right? And I always talk to you guys about using percentages. We can talk about $10, we can talk about $100, but when it comes to comparable to our account, if you say 10%, 10% to you in your account is going to feel the same as 10% to me in my account in some relative way, okay? So when we're talking percentages, guys, I could say I made $100,000, I could make $100. It doesn't matter. Let's talk percentages here, okay? So one of the things that I want to bring up is this blotter. So let me go ahead and bring this up for you. This blotter I pulled off of my my bank statements, and it just shows the percentages. And then this is for the whole year, folks. And there's a reason why I'm showing you this, okay? Because my biggest loss was January 27th. If you guys can remember what that was, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. It's only 3 more seconds. But this was a very monumental day for me because I was just really starting to see the market turn around. I was really expecting some good things in January. And then we got smacked with, let's see if anybody answered it. DeepSeek, baby. DeepSeek right here. A nice chunk right here. Over 20%, closer to that 30% of my account got absolutely torn from me on DeepSeek. Now, of course, if I would have just held, that would have been fine, but that's not how I trade. My momentum was gone. It was taken from me. I exited the trade. Thereafter, I kept my risk small until the 21-day moving average, which was just around after April. Once I started locking in some bigger trades, that is when I started to add some more risk. And as you guys can see here, my losses stay within that 10%-ish area. Now, my losses are getting a little bit bigger in this 10% area, but so are my wins. There's a time to push it. There's a time not to. And back here in January, we were risk off when we broke that 21-day moving average. And you can see some minor trades being taken mostly to the sell side. And then you can see in April when we started turning back around, risk back on. The blotter tells it all, folks. You want to have bigger wins and smaller losses. And I think it's really important to see this because you can see there's only a few of these trades that really have just made my account exceptional. 40% wins, 50% wins, and you can see the majority because my first rule is at that 20%. You can see here I'm locking in profits right in that 20% area. Right here, you know exactly what trade that was if you've been following me, and these two trades right here. I am bound and determined to lock trades in, protect my account, keep building my equity, and in that same time, we're learning how to do it better. I was just talking to B. Stewie just the other day, yesterday actually, about how we are going to change as traders. Swing traders turn into position traders, and that is that. So just stay focused, folks. Keep doing exactly what you're doing, and we're going to think in percentages, small losses, big gains, okay? Let's keep on keeping on, folks. I want to make sure we're all caught up on the chickadee chat, baby. All right, so that was the earnings blotter. And if you don't have access to an earnings blotter, at least find something where it's showing you 20 in percentages. Look at your account in percentages. Don't think I only have 2,000 or I only have 200,000. Think in percentages, build on percentages, and I promise things will go nice and smooth. All right. Now, another great thing about this is that your boy Beef Stewie has access to a lot of information. And one of the things that I think we really need to look at, because I don't look at it all the time, and that is this IBD Top 15. I've seen a lot of stocks on here that we have already been talking about, but there's been a few that I've missed, and I always love to go over these. So without further ado, we're going to start taking a little peeky gander at some of these stocks. I will keep an eye on the chickadee chat, baby. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about these, let me know. But I think that these are very important. I ran through these, and I think that they are beautiful. So some of these might be a little slower, but I will keep you in mind with that. So CLS, this thing moves closer to that 5%. You can see a beautiful basing breakout without a cup. We have identified this much earlier in the bull run that these simple basing breakouts, these cups without handles, have been breaking out and working beautifully. You can see there was two areas to take CLS. We have been watching this for a while, and you can see the earnings, the EPS and sales growth is what's making CLS look absolutely beautiful. This is in your electronic technology and components. Definitely one that you're going to want to keep an eye on. Now, everybody knows PLTR, right? Everybody knows PLTR. PLTR is digesting these amazing gains. It's trading sideways, and we are starting to see either accumulation or distribution. The only way we're truly going to know that is to see if this breaks this area of 144.50, this 150, we'll just call it the 150 area. If it can get up and above that, it'll probably come down and retest this area to see if that is acting as support. Regardless, PLTR is still up here on the leaderboards for a damn good reason. Let's take a look at Robinhood. I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about it. It's one of my best trades. Why did I take this trade? EPS, sales growth, not because it was on the IBD 15, but because we identified this as an early market leader, as well with exceptional EPS and sales growth, as well as bringing a whole new way of investing, as they are the ones that have removed a lot of your trading fees. They have made it very competitive out there for the little guy like you and I to get in and take a hold of shares, and they are changing the investment strategy. So you can see Hood's doing really, really well. I won't go on about Hood, but this is beautiful. This is exactly what you want to see in a trade. It has not closed below that 10-day moving average. If you're looking to get in Hood, I think it's a little choppy up here. It's getting a little loose. But if it can tighten up on this 10-day moving average, give it another 3 days, 4 days, get real tight here, we might see another leg higher. But to be honest, if it pulled back and closed below a 10-day moving average this week, I wouldn't be surprised. It's been a damn good run. So we'll see if it pops me out of there or not soon. Now, IREN, I heard Marty Chargin talking about this one multiple times. This is your simple basing breakout. If you guys look at this right here, that's your simple basing breakout. No handle there, lots of volume. No handle, right? Simple basing breakout. It breaks out without a freaking handle. Now, it might form a handle up here or retest this, but that's different, okay? This broke out once again on volume without that without that handle. And we're seeing that constantly, guys. Now, IREN is in the data processing or the technology services. We are seeing EPS and major sales growth. So if you like IREN, what I would really like to see is something kind of like this, where it just, let me see if I can actually do something here. If it gets tight right here. So I want to see it get tight and form another base before we head higher. So that's my best case scenario. We'll see if it plays out, but that's a pretty big move. I want to see some digestion. I don't want to be buying at the top, but man, that looks pretty, right? That looks really, really good. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And we know that data processing centers have been hot pre the fastest bear market we've ever seen in our entire lives. We had plenty of data processors going, but look, they're not around. They're not hot. They're not moving. And if they are, they're not moving like IREN. This thing moves. 9.06%. Definitely something that you should have on your watch list. They also have American Superconductor, which is AMSC. But before I go here to look at AMSC, I'm pretty sure I've seen this somewhere else, if I remember right. Oh, yeah. I remember where I've seen that before.
Oh, I see you over there. You got problems? We've got the beef.
Now, why oh why would I go anywhere else to see AMSC or give my technical analysis when your boy Beefy Stu has got the anchored VWAPs and your technical analysis right here? Look at the anchored VWAP from the all-time high and the anchored VWAP from the actual opening of the IPO. Look at this beautiful thing. The anchored VWAP from all-time high and the anchored VWAP from its opening IPO have now ran right into this. That's why this is so important to keep an eye on Beef Stewie, because he does his damn homework. Look at the earnings growth. See how the earnings growth is in this beautiful ascending trend line? Absolutely perfect. Now let's take another peeky gander at this. If we zoom in a little bit closer on the daily time frame, you'll see here this beautiful uptrend and an anchored VWAP from the first of the month. I don't care for the first of the month, but what I like about this one is it's taking in this move up higher. So it's showing everybody that got in pre this move up. He likes using the set first of the month dates. I don't personally care for it, but you can see here, regardless, it's holding that area as support. It's getting very tight here. And as you guys know, we talked about the semiconductors. This is in the semiconductors, and they're actually doing very, very well. So if we take a look at that EPS and sales growth, I guarantee you it's up there. Take a look at this. Absolutely beautiful. Love these posts. Keep up the amazing work, Beef Stewie. You know I fucking love you, buddy. You know I love you, buddy. This is your boy Beef Stewie. If you guys aren't a part of his Twitter account, click that X page. I just posted it in the chat, and you need to make sure you follow him. Absolutely love some of these posts. Oh, this is the hinge that you were telling me about. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You guys go check them out. Go check them out right now. Okay, let's take a look at what else we have here. AGX is the next ticker we're going to talk about. You can see here, we have kept an eye on this. You can see a nice simple basing breakout without a cup here. Once again, pushing up higher. In earnings with a surprise in it on the, let's see, 46% surprise and revenue about flat. You can see this thing holding a nice trend here and following this 50-day moving average, or at least it's finding support for now. The EPS and sales growth is what we like to see here, and this is engineering and construction. We've seen a lot of the industrials and builders start to ramp things up a little bit here. With this RS rating and the EPS and sales growth, I think it's definitely one that you want to keep an eye on. Futu. Now, I seen somebody posting about this. Oh, what a beautiful basing breakout, right? Beautiful basing breakout. I don't like the earnings is coming up here, so you can't hold this for too long. But regardless, if you played this basing breakout, congrats to you. Futu is showing EPS and sales growth. This is one that I have not been looking at. I just completely left this off my tickers. And, you know, it's a faster mover at 4.59%. So if you are watching Futu or if you are a part of this beautiful basing breakout, congratulations to you. Futu is doing the damn thing. Oh, wow, yeah, our Rocket Lab. Now, I know a lot of us have been watching Rocket Lab. I haven't played a lot of Rocket Lab, but Rocket Lab is doing the damn thing. We can go ahead and turn this bad baby around. because Rocket Lab is not having any of this crap anymore. So let's go ahead and turn this bad baby around, get Rocket Lab heading in the right direction. You can see another basing breakout. Absolutely perfect. Once it got up through there, you could use that low of previous day. Regardless, folks, this thing is trending higher. I'm not seeing a lot of EPS, but that sales growth is what is making this thing capitulate. Absolutely beautiful. Congrats to anybody holding on to it. OUST, this is the sweet Jolene trading. Now, last week I showed you what I would think a perfect example of what we would want to see is right here. And when you look at something like this, I consider this starting my, it's starting what I drew out last week. Like I literally drew this line, I think, before this was here. This is where I took it last week, you know? And so I just drew a trend line and I made just kind of this squiggly line. I'm just trying to keep a trend here, right? Let's say that 21-day moving comes up and it gets tight here. We have EPS, we have sales growth, we have volume to back this damn thing up. OUST, Ouster Incorporated, looks like after maybe this week, it's going to be on our ready list. So right now, just trading sideways. We'll see if it wants to get tight, if it wants to head higher, if we want to make some money off OUST. Right now, for me, this isn't a buy. This is a watch very, very closely. We got 12 votes so far. 92% of you say Bitcoin will end next week at 120,000. You don't think it's going to go any higher? You guys don't think it's going to go any higher? You think we're pulling back here? We're at pretty much 119 right now, so we'll see if we can get this baby rolling. Let's see what else we got. I know we got SYM on here, SYM, so this is a new one. Symbiotic, producer, manufacturer, industrial machinery. Wow, this thing definitely has the EPS and sales growth to back this thing up. If we zoom out here, you can see this. The first thing I see on this is this basing area right here, okay? Now we could also take the point of control from this area to kind of see where the actual support is. And you have two areas of support. You have down here at this $24, and then you can see this other large area of support at $40.15. So it blew through that area here of resistance, now acting as possible support, and running right into this area up here. The ADR is 8.35%. This thing is a mover, but personally, I can't buy here. If this thing gets really tight here underneath this $48 area, let's call it 50, and then it breaks out above this, there's not a lot of volume, not a lot of overhead up here that's really going to stop this thing from pulling back any lower. We also have ATAT. I know your boy Rambo in the Discord was talking about ATAT, and the EPS and sales growth is looking really good in this thing, as well as look at all this volume coming in. Holy guacamole, baby. Right here, way back here, if you guys look in November of 2022, this thing was when it IPO'd, and you can see it held a base for quite some time. Now at new all-time highs with EPS and sales growth, you can see a base on top of a base. I think even if this thing comes down and retests this, it could definitely head higher with these pushing it farther. So we'll see what ATAT wants to do. It's in your consumer services or hotel resorted, and we know consumer services is doing very, very well right now. All right, so Affirm's on here. I don't even want to talk about Affirm, but one thing I do want to talk about, because I keep wanting to keep my eye out on this, and that is going to be the drug manufacturers or pharmaceuticals. And you can see here with the RS rating of 93, we have EPS and sales growth. The EPS is a little wonky here, but the sales growth is looking really, really good. Now we have earnings coming up here, but I really like this RYTM. It moves about 4.45%. And if I'm going to look at a drug and manufacturing stock, I want to have something that's going to back me up on this thing. And you can see here a beautiful trend higher. It's very simple to see, right? You can see, is this thing going up or down? It's going up, right? So now after a big push like this and earnings expected to come out here August 5th, which is just around the corner, about 15, 20 days here, you're going to see what this thing wants to do. Is it going to capitulate even higher? Are we going to be able to take an earnings breakout? Is this going to show us a clue that biotechs, pharmaceuticals, and the healthcare might start to turn around? That's the question. That's the question I want to know, because it's been beat down for quite some time now. And then last but not least, our Urban, URBN. So if you look at Urban, I did a best case scenario on this a couple of weeks ago, and look at it. I'm going to erase it, but I want you guys to look at this. I drew this best case scenario out for you, and it's playing out to a T. I'm going to clean this up, though, so we don't need to see it. You guys trust me here. But you can see, look, it's came down. It's holding some support somewhere down here, right? Inside this empty gap. We'll just call it its retest, right? And now it's creating a new higher low. I like to see 3 new higher lows. So here's your low. Here's your new higher low right here. So I want to see one more new higher low. Maybe it comes up and it comes back down and then it goes up and then it breaks through this area. 76.50 would be my buy-in area. So I'm going to go ahead and set an alert on this. Actually, it's a little bit slower than I want, 3.37%. I think there's better stocks out there. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this out, chalk it up as noise, and then when I look back and cry because it's melting up, then I'll do that then. Yeah, baby. All right, let's make sure we stay caught up. Libby says, I think Bitcoin will eventually get higher. Yeah, I agree. You know, especially with governments adopting it, now that we can invest in it, it's just showing more power, more belief. You know, I always say, you know, everybody says, well, Bitcoin's not worth anything. Bitcoin's not worth anything. Well, neither is the dollar in your pocket. The only thing that justifies that dollar is worth $1 is because I believe it's worth $1 and you believe it's worth $1. And when I decide to sell my van for $7,000 and you give me $7,000, I'm going to be happy because we both have a mutual belief. Same thing with Bitcoin. If the price keeps going higher, that means people are believing more in Bitcoin. If I believe it's up and you believe it's up, and you tell me you're going to give me 1 Bitcoin for redoing your roof, guess what? I'm going to redo that freaking roof. You better believe it, baby. $119,000 to redo a roof. I'm buying me a new house, baby. Let's go. Or a boat. Hell. Anyway, right back at it, folks. Let's take a little peeky gander at the sector leader watch list. Now, we can go over whatever you would like to, but what I like to go over is the same stocks in our hottest sectors every week, so we get an idea of where we are sitting at. As we already went over Rocket Lab in our aerospace, we also have KTOS. And I know we were talking about KTOS in our Discord. Just huge shout out to everybody just calling these amazing stocks out. But look at this beautiful basing breakout. This is the kind of stuff that we dream about right here, folks. Absolutely perfect basing breakout on KTOS. It's a 5% mover, and with a gap up like this, I can assure you there is a lot of eyes on KTOS. So keep an eye on that. It looks like our aerospace is also setting up in multiple areas as KRMN is setting up, our former leader and still our big dog in this, Howmet Aerospace, HWM, looking absolutely crispy up here. You guys, look at this move. And your boy Beef Stewie has been watching and preaching about aerospace defense for over 3.5 years now to me. And I have not made no money. I think 0 money in aerospace. I just haven't even touched it. And my boy's telling me like, dude, these drones, you know, it's like, come on, Beef, I know, give me a break, bro. We also have GE. Look at this beautiful base starting to set up right here. Do I need to even point this out, folks? I know you see it. You also see volume, but you also see earnings. You're going to start hearing me say earnings ruins everything. What's up, Robert Tainch in the building? Thank you so much for stopping in and saying hello. We also have DFEN. Now, we should have started with DFEN. DFEN is our aerospace ETF. This thing is on an absolute melt up here at 52.63. It's just holding this 21-day moving average. You see it? Every time it touches it, it just gets bought right back up. So keep a very close eye on this whole sector. BYRN, look at, this is why we don't play earnings. You know, and if you do play earnings, you're playing it with a cushion. So you're not, you know, you're playing with more of house money. BYRN came out. It was looking really, really good here. We talked about it last week. About this basing breakout. I mean, every time it touched, it was looking beautiful. This would have been a great area to buy if earnings wasn't around the corner, and that's why we did not take that. ARKF, this is also an ETF that we keep a close eye on. It's very close to DFEN. But one I want to like and love is ACHR. Your boy Beef Suey has been on this one for quite some time. This might be my entry into the aerospace and defense because we have a double whammy. We have a basing breakout right here. Check this out. Look at the price action. Multiple times has the price hit this area at 1050. you can see it gets really, really tight. And if I pull the point of control, I can almost guarantee you it's in this 1050 area. You want to bet? Let's go ahead and do it. ACHR. I'm doing it live, folks. We're doing it live. Point of control. Look at it. And look, it's already been pulled here. It's already been pulled. It's a little lower than where I told you. But maybe did I do this last week? Did I do this last week? Is that why? But it's just so obvious. Sometimes you don't have to pull the point of control here. It's very, very obvious on this one. Let's pull it to the end here. You can see that point of control sits right at that $10 area. I'm saying it's, you know, the 1050 area because the price action, every time it hits there, it wants to sell off. Well, it's above there, so it should act as support. So ACHR is on my ready list. I don't plan on taking any more trades because I'm pretty well packed with my trades right now, but ACHR, if I free up some money, if I stop out on any of my trades, I'm going to be looking at this stock, this aviation stock from a bird's eye view. I want to take this stock. It's got good risk reward here, folks. And if I'm not going to take it, somebody else pretty well damn sure should, because I can root for you then. Quantum computing, it looks like it took a little smack, but we're still above the 10-day moving average on the ETF. So keep an eye on quantum as it's kind of just lingering around like some bad breath. QBTS just chopping around down here, not very tight, not very conformative. QUBT breaking below the 21-day moving average as it has held this 21-day moving average for months now. Almost 2 months has it held that 21-day moving average, now breaking below it. Bad sign there, folks, is IONQ. We talked about this last week. It was looking phenomenal. We had a beautiful trend break. We have a nice basing breakout here, but look, it's back down at that 21-day moving average. If it cannot hold the 30-day moving average, I could see IONQ coming right back down to the 200 and retesting that. So we got to keep a close eye on quantum. And you guys know I am not a fan of quantum computing. There is no money in there. There's no real resale value. I really like EPS and sales growth. If you can't sell anything, then you're burning money. You're going to have to dilute your shareholders in order to earn money to continue to function. And we don't like to see that when we're even swing trading, because at any time at night, they can file to dilute their shareholders to gain more money. You're not going to be faster than they can sell. You're going to wake up, you're going to get smacked with the news, and then you're going to be crying to your mommies, okay? RGTI, another one that looks amazing here. If I have my money on anything when it comes to quantum computing, and quantum computing starts to head higher tomorrow, RGTI at 6.9%, looks like it's setting up very, very nicely here. This is a trend breakout, folks. You can see the 3 new lower highs, the 3 new higher lows. It's just setting up exactly how you want it to. And if you look at this on the weekly, you'll get kind of a better perspective here. Look at that. That's a beautiful thing. That's what you want to see. We'll see if it breaks out, and it doesn't on volume. That's what we want to see, is the volume coming in there. We also have QS now. I know that our Jolene in the building is kicking ass and taking names with some QS and some other amazing trades. We showed you the basing breakout on this. I said I was not going to take this. Too choppy, didn't get tight, waiting for moving averages to catch up. But if you did take it, if you had the cojones to take QS, congratulations to you. I am rooting for you. This thing is rip, tater chip. Some overhead, but if you look into it, if it gets above this $10, I mean, this thing could run. This thing could run, folks. So keep an eye on it. Not something I am trading, though. Okay. And here's ARQQ. This thing's also setting up pretty nice. You can see a nice tightening range starting to form here, but it needs to hold these moving averages. So that's quantum. I'm thinking quantum is kind of in the toilet, doo-doo. You know, and I said the same thing about Bitcoin 2 weeks ago when it was breaking that low that it had. And then guess what? It got back above, created 3 new higher lows, created a basing range, and then broke out. I was a fan after it started getting tight again, but when you start to get choppy, you start to break down your moving averages. That's quantum. We don't have good EPS growth. Not a fan. Crypto. Now, a lot of these I'm in IBIT. You can see nice big gap up on Friday. We're also going to get a nice gap up this morning. As you can see here, if we zoom in on the 4-hour, you can see we get another gap up here. Let's see what that gap up is, like 0.5% right now in IBIT. Okay, we also have Circle. I put this on. I'm still holding Circle because it's a newer IPO. I'll tell you exactly why I did this. Because it's a newer IPO and because of the range, I decided to use this low of the day, because if it makes a new lower low, then I'm going to get out. So I only took a small share size. I'm risking $400. We're only using 10 shares for this, and I'm just going to hold on to this thing. I'm sick of getting stopped out when we could have these wide range of volatilities. Circle, I do have to say, is not looking good. If Bitcoin's climbing higher, Circle was pulling back that same day. I'm not going to get out of the trade just because of that. I'm going to hold on to it until it stops me out. That's just personally how I have to do it, because if it goes after I sell, I'm going to feel sick to my stomach. I'd rather take the loss and then let it skyrocket rather than me exit voluntarily rather than following my rules, and then it takes off, and then I'm going to call Beef Stewie and cry to him. Coin, absolute terror. Look at this. If we zoom all the way out, folks, the IPO base is right here, or not base, but the IPO open, we're going to say the area is 367. To me, this is up and above it. We're not going to count this. There ain't nobody sitting up there anymore. You can see this. We're right up into that $400 area. Coin is an absolute rip tater chip. You'll love to see it. Its earnings are on the 31st, so be careful with that. Now, Libby just said BTBT. She's watching BTBT. You can see BTBT just got above that 200-day moving average and is pulling back. We need to find out where that support is. So this is it's involved with Bitcoin. This is an OTC stock. But look at the volume coming in here, folks. That is a tall tale sign that we have some buyers. Now it's right up into this area of resistance, and I drew this out before, and I can just continue to drag it so we kind of get a better visual. Look at this. You might ask yourself, well, why has it been selling off the past couple days? Well, you can see, look at this huge area of resistance here. It's a dollar area. It's in between $4 and $5. It needs to get through that, and currently it's smacked into it, it's pulling back, and now it needs to create a new higher low here. But yes, BTBT, with the volume coming in like that, it's very important to keep an eye on these, especially if you have a smaller account. If you have a smaller account, you can buy a lot more shares, but you're taking on a lot more risk. So just keep that in mind. BTBT is looking good. Thank you, Libby. Also, MSTR. Guys, we called the trend breakout here. I know a couple of you took the trend breakout. I hope you were able to hold on through that. But I played this basing breakout right here. I feel like I got in a little later than I wanted to, but roughly around that 407 using MSTU. You can see right here. Actually, it doesn't have my buy and sell right here at 100 at 8.99. So I took a small share amount simply because I'm in CRCL, IBIT, and MSTU. So you got to keep an eye on that. BTM, B. Stewie says. So let's take a little peeky gander. At BTM, look at this beautiful thing. This is what I like to see here. This looks good. So, you know, this really reminds me of Circle. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but we get a big move up, a pullback, undercutting the 21, popping up and pulling back one more again. CRCL. If we look, it's pretty similar. Big push up, a pullback, didn't undercut the 21, but pops up and pulls back again. They're kind of in the same spot. You know, they're kind of in the same spot. Pretty much the same looking move. Now, this is also a Bitcoin depository, and you can see big pop up here. I think these are the ones we talked about. They're the ones that you see in the stores. They're getting them in Cali and stuff. We've had them here in Michigan forever. But yeah, BTM, this is looking really good. These are your fast movers, guys. 9.8% average daily range on BTM. This thing can freaking rip your face off if you're not careful. And let's just see while we're talking about it, BTBT. Let's see how fast this thing moves. This is 7.9%. So again, if you're going to take these trades, find the proper risk management in these trades. So that is crypto, looking absolutely amazing. We can even just take another little peeky gander at your old Bitcoin, sitting at $119,000 right now. Got to new all-time highs on a Sunday, then hit a new all-time highs opening for the next day. This is absolutely beautiful to see. That's what you want to see when you have got yourself lined up with the old Bitcoins. All right. Let's carry on here, folks. We want to take a look at screw oil and gas, screw batteries, semiconductors. We already looked at a few of the, we already looked at AMSC. We got to look at the leader. That's NVIDIA. New all-time highs. What are you going to do about it? You know, there's faster things to play right now. I'm not going to hate on anybody for playing this because it is a leader. You can use NVDL as a 2x leverage, so that way you can at least get close to 4% on it. But me personally, there's faster movers. If you're going to play a stock in this, wait for AEVA maybe to set up. But it doesn't look like it's doing well. This was a beautiful runner, beautiful leader, all eyes on it. And now it's just trying to digest. It's trying to find support somewhere. So we're going to see if it does. MU's looking really, really good. If we zoom out, you can see a basing area here. If it gets tight, it could head up higher. AMD is very, very popular. And, you know, we called this basing breakout down here. I hate playing those laggards, but AMD, when it gets going, it can really get going. And I think it's undervalued here. Without any fundamentals, without even looking at this thing, it does have good fundamentals. Or at least it did the last time I looked at it. It was like 2 years ago when it was beaten down here. I'm like, why is the stock, you know, why? But I think it was just overly inflated due to NVIDIA, huge pullbacks. I think it's just kind of following, but still got some moves. And SMCI, I do hold this stock, and for the same reason. We have a basing pattern here, and I think it's undervalued. I think once this thing starts to get moving, I think SMCI is really going to get to moving. You know, I remember when everybody was talking about it down here, and we got this huge push up, you know, and a huge sell-off. It went up too high too fast. Look at this. It moves up, it's consolidating, it's holding the 30-day moving average. It moves up, it consolidates, it's holding the 10-day moving average. And then it's squeezing right into this basing area with new higher lows. That's what I love to see. That's what I love to see. So I took this trade. Since I've taken it, it hasn't been doing good. Obviously, I took right at that $50 area. Took about 200 shares, so nothing big. Risk is $400 at the previous day low. And, you know, it's been pulling back for 2 days, folks. Is this thing going to knock me out in the morning? If so, so be it. I'll be keeping an eye on the other trades that we talked about. We also have AVGO, another good looker. Beef Stewie says AAOI HIMX. Okay, let's take a look. AAOI. Oh yeah, this thing's beautiful. Look how this riding the 10-day moving average, and you got, it looks like the basing breakout really already happened here. But where's the volume? You know, so if you wait and you watch for something like this, maybe we have another inside day, and then the next day it pops out. Maybe Tuesday, this thing pops out on volume. So yeah, that looks really, really nice. Absolutely love seeing that. What else you got for me? HIMX. Another beautiful one. This looks a lot like AAIO as well, as we're pushing up and we're just trading sideways, tightening range. This base right here is really nice. Look at this. 3 inside days here. If this thing breaks out of that 950 area, we could get some volume. It only moves 3.9%, and there's a lot of overhead volumes on HIMX. I think there's better ones out there, but I think this volume kind of speaks for itself. So it's looking good. Looking good. Let's take a look at cyber software. So one thing I like to use is Hack, and you can see right here the ETF Hack has now broke that 30-day moving average as support. It held the 10 for a long time. It came down, touched the 30, reclaimed, sitting up here, new all-time highs, and then we just started failing here. So what did we have? What happened? Well, let's take a look at crowd pulled back. We have RBRK started to pull back. It needs to hold this new higher low to continue to be a leader. CRWV, this is Coral Weave, folks. Remember Coral Weave? I was very, very excited about this because this was a true high tight flag that did not work out. Thank you for risk. We started to see a big drip here, and then it broke down, and now it's in free fall. So we're going to see where that wants to land us. We already talked about PLTR. Cecil also broke down. TEM, we talked about needed to hold this trend line, broke the trend line, started to head down. And I even talked to you guys about how this is a big boat. Is this a sign? When it broke here, I asked you, is this a sign of further weakness in this sector? And it looks like it is. We also have LIF still holding way up here. I remember VC brought this up a while back. I'm just going to create an alert right here because if LIF can buck the trend, that would be a nice sign. I like it. It's showing a new higher low here, starting to get tight. INOD. Now I tried to play this basing breakout. Another small loss on this basing breakout as it came back down here, retesting the 10-day moving average. The 21 is what seems to want to hold. And ORCL still above the 10-day moving average, probably one of your strongest out here. After that earnings gap up, this thing just kept on moving. You gotta love to see those. And now nuclear, this is your NLR, your Uranium and Nuclear Energy ETF. This holds all your biggest, bestest boats of the nuclear and uranium family. Sitting here at 108.17, holding a 30-day moving average. Here's UUU. This is just uranium. Absolutely beautiful. Not doing anything too much, but we have Oklo. Now, B. Stewie and I talked about this one too off the show. This Oklo is getting really tight. This is what I like to call a double whammy. And what that is a basing breakout, and you guessed it, my favorite. Well, the basing breakouts are not my favorite, but we also have a trending breakout. So look at this, folks. If OKLO breaks above, we're just going to go ahead and make an alert right here for me. Let's say $58, and you see volume coming in that's higher than the previous days on the 5-minute time frame, watch out. OKLO 9.2%. This is definitely one that you need to keep on your watch list, because when this thing moves, it moves. Like, look at the last time it broke just like this. It went up 127%. Then it formed this base, simple basing breakout. Look at this. But would we have played this? No. Earnings. Earnings comes up, big gap up. Here's another basing area. If you could have taken that in the pre-market, you could have got yourself another 77%. That's how we play. That's how we play. That's how we make money. Okay. OKLO setting up once again, showing a base and a trend breakout. That's what you want to see. Keep an eye on that. NNE. We're never going to forget NNE. We made a ton of money on this thing on its first trend breakout. Will we make money again? Well, I don't really care for these nuclear stocks. I haven't been playing them much, but I will say they can make or break your account. This thing is just so choppy. It's just chopping around constantly. I know some of us gotten chopped up in it. I'm happy to say I haven't played this much at all. Since I played this big move right here, I haven't played this much at all. But what I will say is if you take all the tops here, all the majority of the main tops, you can see it's at an inflection point. Is it going to break out and go higher, or is it going to break down from this area? Definitely want to keep an eye on it, but SMR is one that looks like another trend bucking nuclear stock, as we also have a base and another trend breakout here. Now, I like SMR a little bit more than I like the other ones because of the EPS and sales growth. It's a little bit better, but you cannot deny LEU. This is our leader in the nuclear right now, as of right meow. LEU, brought to you by Swolzenberg, pointed this out for me a while back, and we were watching this, he said, is this a leader? Absolutely it's a leader. This thing was absolutely taking market share from a lot, and you can see LEU almost hit a new all-time high, while the rest of it was kind of just trading sideways. So keep an eye on LEU. There's no trade here for me to be able to take. You could have taken a simple basing breakout, a basing breakout with new higher lows here. But for me personally, I wasn't playing this. My alert did go off. I did alert the chat in Discord, but not my favorite setup. Torqued Up says, love how nuclear is looking right now. Some really nice setups. Yeah. I don't care for nuclear in general, but you cannot deny these setups. You can't. Whether you like nuclear or not, I think it's the future. I do. I think it's the future, but it's not like a hood for me where I look at the price to earnings, I look at the sales growth. I'm not seeing that with these nuclear stocks. It's just like all funded by the government, which is good. Don't get me wrong. That's going to help it capitulate, but that's just, it's so hard to trade. So if I'm going to trade this, it's going to be on a technical analysis basis only, and it's just going to be, buy at that basing breakout using the low of day. But yeah, definitely some really nice setups out there. OKLO, put that on your watch list. SMR, put that on your watch list. And let's see if LEU gives us another chance to get in. We'll see. Now, I have some gold and miners, but guys, I'm thinking ORLA is your best bet for your GLD or your gold. But this is a trending breakout, and I've called every trend breakout. I've also called this as the top, and it was the top, but not for long. It looks like this trending breakout, if it's not a fake breakout, this definitely can hit these new all-time highs, okay? So keep an eye on that. Yes, my G, LEU, baby. I got you. I'm already on top of it, baby. We are on top of it tonight. We hit them all. Now, just before we call this a close, what do you guys got for me? Do you have any stocks that I need to look at? Something I need to be aware of? Let me know in the chat right now. If you just want to If you just want to tell me to piss off, you can do that in the chat right now. We just ended that poll, the Bitcoin poll. The question was, where will Bitcoin end next week? Is it going to be 120,000, 150, 110, or below 100K? Everybody seems to believe we are going to close somewhere right around where we are at right now. So we'll see. Are we going to end up higher? I think we're going to end up higher. I think this melt up is going to be absolutely beautiful. My G says PB. Let's go. Let's take a look at PB. So if we look at PB here, and if we just zoom all the way out here, there's two main things I see. PB is trading sideways, and we have a basing area right here, right? You can see how many times has this area been hit. Just a ton of times, right? So the $76 to $80 area is a huge, huge zone. Let's just mark this out. Look at this. When we mark this out, you start to see this thing keeps smacking into this area, you know? For me, this stock would have to get well above this $82 area. And for that to happen, it's going to take a while because this thing only moves 1.7%. So, we're in a bull market. This thing probably is going to continue to head higher, but it's not going to head higher anywhere very fast. So keep an eye on PB, but keep an eye that this isn't moving very fast. The earnings are on the 23rd, so that's in about 10 days, so keep a close eye on that as well. RDDT, Jolene, what up, girl? You better go back and listen to it because I talked a whole bunch of crap about you. Reddit, yes, Reddit, looking much better. I was talking crap about Reddit down here. I definitely was, and I will again if it gets below a 200-day moving average. I have no self-respect for any self-respect. I have no respect for anything below a 200-day moving average. You know, nothing good happens below that 200-day moving average, but we're above it now, and it looks like all of the moving averages, rather than the 50, are diverging, and they are starting to head higher. It's a beautiful sign to see. New higher lows. Reddit could definitely head higher. 5.8%, good EPS and sales growth. I like Reddit. I do. I don't like the app. I like the stock. Okay, I don't use this. I don't use the app. But obviously, they have a bunch of data. They can sell that data if they do that, or they become a data mining. There's a lot that Reddit can do, right? So we're going to see with the earnings coming up here on the 31st, if Reddit wants to continue to hold this new uptrend, and if it can, how much higher can it go? Absolutely, like to see that. Oh, CRDO, I got you, my G. my G. CRDO. Okay, so this is CRDO technology. This thing was an absolute monster and has been for some time now. Wow, it even had another setup for us right here. Another basing breakout setup. Look at that. Just a couple of basing breakout setups on CRDO, but this thing reaching new all-time highs, and if we zoom out, there's nothing above CRDO. So if you are in this stock, congratulations, because this had to have been an easy hold, as it's been above this 10-day moving average for quite some time. If we point out, the first basing breakout really was right here, where the majority of the other ones were. You know, after our V-shaped bottom and we recovered, you can see, look at the 10-day moving average. It gets tight on the 10-day, and look at that gap up on earnings. After it gaps up on earnings, it pulls back, and look what it finds support on. Little old 10-day moving average. And as it rides that 10-day, it starts smacking its head right into that 77.15. You can see breaking above it. It never looked back and has held above that 10-day moving average. So congratulations to you if you're holding that. I like to see CRDO, and I like to see what it's doing. We need leaders to continue to lead, and we'll see if it wants to do that, baby. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Beef Stewie says, look at the volume on RCAT and UMAC. Oh, wow, yeah. So RCAT, if I remember right, this is a shit stock. Let's just take a look, just call it what it is. So here's RCAT. If you look at the financials right here, we do have some sales growth, but because they're all over the place, they're wonky, and same as the EPS. Just know what you're working with here, okay? I'm not saying you can't trade this. I'm not saying not to trade this. I'm also not telling you to trade this, but I'm going to draw these patterns out for you and explain what B. Stewie wants me to look at here. So look, we have a trending breakout right here. Not only do we have a trending breakout, but look at that volume. That volume is huge. Now, I also know, since we are talking with B. Stewie, I guarantee this boy has got some anchored VWAP lines. So let's go ahead and pull the anchored VWAP from all-time high. And what do you know? This thing is broken out of its anchored VWAP from all-time high. Now let's take it from all-time low. That's one of my favorite things to do. Right here's your all-time low. And look at that, folks. The anchored VWAP pinch as the volume spikes up on a piece of news. RCAT Important Deadlines, Rosin Trusted Investor Council encourages red cat holding investors with losses in excess of $100,000 to secure counsel before important July 22nd deadlines in security class action. So they're in a security class action and this thing starts to rip, tater chip. Can you believe that? Class action filed against Red Cat Holdings. Just know what you are working with here, folks, okay? Even on bad news, these things can start to go up. Why? Who cares? It's all about the price action. So keep an eye on RCAT, but also know what you are messing with. You're playing with fire. You might wake up and this thing gaps down 20% because they decided, they have to dilute their shareholders in order to pay for XYZ. So just keep that in mind. I do like the way it looks, though. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I'm full account. Here's UMAC. Now let's take a look at the financials on this. You can see we are starting to get some EPS and sales growth, but what B. Stewie wants to point out is look at the volume on this, folks. This thing absolutely decided to just grab a hold of some jetpacks and rip, tater chip to the north side. So 99 RS rating, we're starting to see some EPS and sales growth. We want to see if this thing wants to continue higher. So this is unusual machines, and I haven't read anything about this. Let me development stage technology company which engages in the provisions of drone solutions. Of course it's drones, Stewie. Of course it's drones, you damn turd. You got every drone stock under the sun. Let's see, drone solutions with a focus on first-person view technology. It offers products to entertainment, recreation, and competitive racing industries. So that's actually pretty cool. I like watching those guys zip around with those drones and shit. So yeah, very cool. UMAC, unusual machines, absolutely huge bout of volume in there. Let's keep a close eye on it. Actually, let me see. We got a piece of news here. Hexens vow to unleash American dominance, lift drone stocks. Pentagon lifts drone restrictions, sends shares of defensive stocks higher. Well, there you go, folks. It looks like this big bout of volume is drone restrictions. So I think the drone restrictions, I don't know if it's to certain areas or certain countries, but obviously if we are getting government restrictions withheld, we're not creating more restrictions, that's going to be great for the sector in general. So definitely keep an eye on these, folks. Thank you for that, B. Stewie. DFDV. Oh, wait, Jolene wants me to look at that too? No, we ain't looking at that. I already see EPS and sales growth on something that moves 22.16%. This is definitely one that we all need to have our eyes on. This thing, now listen, folks, you really need to know what you're messing around with here. This is a 22.16 average daily range. Let me just measure that for you. Let's say we bought it at $27. This thing can move up $8, $9, folks, in a day. Okay, so don't go buying 1,000 shares thinking you're going to be A-okay and fine and dandy. You might end up with a colonoscopy in your damn equities account by the end of the night. So before we start talking about this, please keep in mind that this will rip your damn face off. So DeFi Development Corporation. This is in the finance and finance rental leasing. Okay, the volume on average is 1.92 million. That's what we like to see. This is a market cap of 401 million. It's very tiny. That's small. It's baby. It's small. Okay, let's see what this thing has to say. Do keep in mind, even with EPS and sales growth, they are not making a penny right now. They are in the rears, okay? Keep that in mind. You got to know what you're working with here, okay? Now let me read what this is. DeFi Development Corporation provides businesses and commercial property financing services. It provides technology that connects commercial mortgages borrowers looking for debt to refinance, build, or buy commercial property. So this is just another finance, and this is the DeFi or where they're using technology to help bring customers together and create loans and yada yada yada. This sector in itself is doing really, really well. This stock, as an IPO base, is freaking insane. If you guys haven't been with us, if you haven't been watching the market closely, IPOs are back on the table. They are some wasabi. Hot fuego, baby. If it's too hot, get the F out the kitchen, because I promise you, you need to keep an eye on these. And this is an IPO. This is an IPO base that you like to see, okay? Is this an IPO? We're going to call it an IPO. Well, it did. It was an IPO, right? It's just, you know, a year later, okay? Bear with me, folks. Look at this IPO. No, it looks absolutely gorgeous here, and I really appreciate you guys bringing this up. I see a few things here. First of all, I like to see these bases, and I used to watch Kulamagi draw these out all the time, and I go, why does he just draw a random line, right? But if you look, before the volume came in, before all this crazy shit, you could see here, 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 and here. That is your base, okay? As to where this is more your trend, okay? So you could call this a trend and a basing breakout, but personally, what I would like to see to make this a 5-star setup is for it to continue to get tight here and have some inside days and some more sideways trading. If it can do that, I'm going to have to put a little bit of money on this thing, okay? Because you don't see this very often. I like to see this. I hope you guys like to see this too. If you haven't already, do me a favor, smash that like button. We got 13 of you in here and 12 likes, so there's one of you, Mickey Fickies, in here that doesn't like smashing the like button. Smash that like button, baby. Let's go. Absolutely love DFDV. I'm going to have to set an alert right here and keep a very close eye on this thing. It's definitely one that even if you don't play this, like personally, it's probably going to get past me. I'm probably not going to be in front of it to play it, or I might just say, you know, I need to give it another day, or I'll make another excuse on why not to buy this thing, because it's very fast. It's very, very fast, and it's not really my type of stock, but I want to watch this. These are the things that you want to watch and learn from. If you're not going to play it, don't play possum, okay? If you're not going to play it, don't play possum. Watch it. Learn from it. Love it. SNDK. Let's take a look at SNDK. Okay, newer IPO. It looks like it's starting to base out right here in this area. It looks like right about right here would be the base. This would be the basing area. I'm just looking at this price action right here. And if we take the point of control, as your boy Beefy likes to do, you can see the point of control is right there. I mean, it's right underneath it. We can even add another indicator here as the anchored VWAP from all-time high. You can see it's much, much below it. So with that being said, you know, a breakout above this could start to serve as support. So just keep that in mind. We do like these IPOs. They don't have much overhead resistance, folks. You know, they can really, really climb, and they have been, you know. So keep that in mind. Huge shout out again to Norman Conklin. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the continued support, and to all my members, B. Stewie, Carl, Norman, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you, and thank you to all of my viewers. I know you guys keep coming back, and I really appreciate your dedication. I love to do this. I do this for me, and honestly, if you guys pick up something from this, I really appreciate it. So I hope you have a good day. I hope you have an awesome week. I got a short week. I'm going camping next weekend, so it's going to be a good time. Probably shouldn't tell the world, but good thing we have a house sitter, right? We'll see you guys next week. Peace. Man, I had a beautiful day. A beautiful day. Huge shout out to the old Beefy Stew. Thank you so much, bro. Appreciate you. Jolene. Thank you so much for being here. Torqued up. Zing, zing, baby. Drive safe while you're out there, homie. Libby, Franchuk, as always. Did I miss some? Oh, no. Libby, I missed SUNS, GLXY, and GILT. I missed them. Libby, forgive me. I'm so sorry. Jimmy Bright, thank you so much for being here, bro. I appreciate you, Jimmy. Zamora. CMIG, take care. Yosef, thank you so much, man. Heck yeah, guys. Who else we got? Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody. That's everybody. Nothing but love, guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Peace.